Hello, Luca. How are you? Sorry.
Right. So we went through all the news about software development, software factory, software security in the software, CI/CD, DevOps, pipelines, AI in the software development, but not only, also in the security monitoring or the security analysis of the software. So we went through a lot of news about software development, and now
Our case study today coincidentally matches the topic you were talking about. Giving you a brief introduction, as usual, I was part of this project, which is called QuarterDeck. It's an internal tool. We call it a tool to manage idea. It's the social media of ideas, where user can upload ideas, admins can accept it and move it forward. Users can comment, like, share, can invest financially in a way. So this is the main project. It's called QuarterDeck for one of our clients.
Sorry, and the initiative is the innovation funnel, the open innovation. These are the topics more or less.
Exactly. We're coming. As a developer, when you meet with the client and you show him your work, the functional and non-functional requirements of a platform, you don't want to see surprises. We entered as a team like 10, 15 meetings with the client to show him our solution on the dev environment. And coincidentally, of course, there wasn't any comments because there was no surprises to the client. He'd seen mockup that are solid. He accepted them. He approved them. We as developers, front end, back end, and other stakeholders, we just go and develop. To reach this point, to reach a part where your mockup is solid and you enter in the meeting just showing the real production is not an easy phase. This phase is the discovery phase. We have a solid discovery phase that led to the implementation to be as solid as well. So we've decided to invite Graziella, one of our UX researchers, to tell us what happens in this phase. How do we reach this phase in a good way? Hi, Graziella.
Hi, ciao a tutti. I'm going to switch to English since Mohab introduced me in English. We as UX designers, UX researcher, we really work on the discovery phase, which is basically the most crucial stage, because we have to understand and we aim to gain a deep understanding of users, of their needs, of their pain points. So talking about QuarterDeck, how did we do that? So basically, these discovery phases had a competitive analysis, interviews with the users, surveys, journey maps, personas, low fidelity wireframe, and so on. So it's worth mentioning the competitive analysis because I went a little bit more undercover. So basically what we did is to speak to the CEOs of our competitors, so our competitors back then, which were platforms that are used from the employees.
No, sorry. So you mean we went to competitors who has the same, like competitors of the solution?
Yes,
people
exactly.
Who have plus or minus the same solution. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. So these competitors they used to offer, I think they still offer the same, more or less the same ideas. So back then I wanted to speak directly to them to understand how do they do that? How are their platform? Let's see their strengths, their weaknesses. So we spoke directly with these people. And what we understood, apart from the strengths and weaknesses, for example, a few results that I can share with you right now, was the gamification element. For example, that was a really important element to keep engaged our users, or the connection between the users as well. It was something really important. So users wanted to communicate between each other. Then if you want, I keep going with the discovery.
No, but up until this phase, you don't open your Figma and you draw anything yet. We didn't start, not yet. Okay.
Exactly. So we basically need to find out, is it a good idea to develop? What are our competitors are doing? And then...
Sorry to interrupt you, just to recall what I mentioned before. We are very focused on custom software development. So our job is to develop new software.
Yeah.
But the first option for any IT department of any customer, the first option when someone from the business comes and say, well, I have a new idea, can we do that? The first option is to go outside and buy something, because there is a software as a service solution already done, already implemented, less risky because they have already the solution in place. Sometimes the less, seems to be saving money because they have already the solution. It's more, or less flexible because they need to standardize the solution and so on. But the first option is, and 80% of the time, is the best solution to go out and buy something. This is very, very famous. We are in the business of developing the 20% that are custom software development. But we are also suggesting to the customer, well, this idea is already in place and you can buy it outside.
And in this phase, you would know this information. We would go back to the client and tell him, hey, you can use 1, 2, 3, right?
Exactly.
Or we will continue.
So we do an analysis just for that. Like, of course, we're going to listen to what the business wants, what the client wants. However, we also have to put our knowledge in this research and say, listen, okay, you had this idea. Perfect. What can we do to implement this idea? What can we do better? Or what are the risks? So that's why this analysis in the discovery phase, it's very, very important. Also to not waste money, not to let the client waste any money or time, because maybe the client has an idea of let's do that, but maybe it's going to waste a lot of their time and their money. So that's why we do this analysis.
Okay, and after this discovery phase, now we know the quarter deck. No, we need to implement it because we did implement it. So you need to implement it. Then what happens after?
So what we do into this discovery phase, after the discovery phase, we do the low fidelity wireframes, which they're going to be shown to the front end and back end team. And from there is a really, really highly collaboration between the teams, because it can be done just by one team. So UX UI design that collaborate with front end and back end team to give maximal results. And after that, you have to keep testing your platform, because things might change all the time. So I really, really, and always say, we have to keep testing, not only since the beginning, but also at the end. So we have to reiterate all the time to give the best solution to the client or to our business.
Testing, okay. You mean, sorry, you mean the functionality, the idea, testing the idea.
The experience, because of course we have the technical testing, absolutely, from a quality assurance team, but we do need also the experience of the user, because most of the time the user has a different mental model from what we think it's right. So it's always important to be on the user side and keep obviously our knowledge on the paper.
You mentioned wireframe. Are they like sketched wireframe, or it's like a mock-up with the real look and feel?
Our wireframe are a low fidelity. So it's a really an initial sketch of the idea, of the result of our research. And then obviously we implement in a high fidelity mockups where you start.
Before the high fidelity, the client will see the low fidelity?
Yes.
Or
you can actually, yes, absolutely. You can actually build the low fidelity wireframe with the client as well. You can organize session with them and do something that reflect their ideas and your research findings too. So you can actually collaborate on that. It doesn't have to be just the design team. Sometimes you can do workshop. So yeah.
Then when I show him the high fidelity mock-up, look and feel, color, everything, there's no surprises. He saw how the sighting goes, how the navigation, all the functionality. He sees the high fidelity, and this is where it ends, or there is other, or I take the mock-up and give it to the front end or the development team, and my job is ended here.
So as I said, it's always a work that is going on. It doesn't end in that particular moment, but we have to always be on the side of the team that is keeping the work going on with the mockups. So front end, back end, they always going to need some information from us. So we always have to be there as a backup. And obviously, as soon as everything is implemented, we have to test straight away. So you don't forget about us. Like, we are at the beginning of the project, but you don't forget about us throughout the whole process.
Yeah, but with the client, no. The client will not contact you anymore.
Well,
Like the client has no work with you anymore. Now it's between you, this team, and the development team. Am I correct?
yes, but obviously, if the client wants us to be present in the calls, of course, we were going to be present. But our job doesn't end there.
I know you talked about it, but I have a screen to share, and if you can elaborate on it, especially that it's in Italian.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see my screen.
No,
I
no.
found it in the case study. It's the roadmap of how we did the discovery phase.
That was basically what I was telling you about earlier. This was the discovery phase, so the initial part before we ended up with the wireframe. So we can see at the beginning with the competitive analysis. Then what followed was the interviews with the user. That is our target audience, so the Sorintian, obviously. And through those interviews, what we understood is, are the Sorintians happy about this platform? Do they really need it? And they were actually happy to have this platform. However, their problem was, if I have an idea, if I want to share an idea, I don't know who to speak to. Do I speak to the business? Do I speak to who do I? So they were missing guidance. They were missing the location where to share, the area where to share these ideas. So that was actually really important to speak to the users. And the service, on the other hand, would give us a quantitative data. So that means that out of all the Sorintians that we spoke, how many they want this solution? Is it 1,000 Sorintians or just 3 Sorintians out of 1,000? So that's why we have to have qualitative data, speaking directly to the user, and quantitative data that tells you the numbers. And basically, at the very end, you can see the creation of the user personas and their journey maps. What are they? I'm going to explain it to you really briefly. The personas are like archetypal. They are just some fictional character that reflects our research. So the usual Sorintians, basically, the usual target that would use this platform. And the journey map is their journey. So how does this platform that we want to build resolve their problem during a day? That's what we do. So this helps you to not lose the focus on the objective of the platform and what the user wants. And obviously, then we moved all of these research findings into a presentation, and we obviously updated Luca and Chiara. And
this is the client. You updated the client.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I would stop it here. But my last question would be the timeline, just to understand. In Quarterdeck's case, how long would this phase take?
So it took around 2 months, at least, for this discovery phase, because it was a very important project. It is a very important project that we have to keep working on. And we wanted to give a quality result. We wanted to make Sorintians happy, and we want something that would reflect what Sorintians wanted, and obviously the client. So 2 months, more or less, of time we took discovery phase.
Thank you, Graziella.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want just to end adding something about the reuse framework, because Quarterdeck is something that it's very important for us, because we are in the business. Our job is to develop the custom software development. So custom software, something very sometimes from scratch for the customer. But now we are this reuse framework. So when we develop Quarterdeck, we have in mind to reuse part of the project. So we have now a product that is a collaborative platform for the innovation funnel. So where there is a process to develop an idea, to collaborative, so to involve, to engage everyone in one company, to contribute in one idea, and to try to model the idea and so on. So this is so we can go to the customer and say, well, this is more or less a product that you can use to accelerate the custom software development. You can use some of the part of the Quarterdeck because we have the libraries that we can share with other products.
Like the chat, for example, like the chat functionality. Yeah.
And also, at the end, we have, with this reuse framework, we have documented the approach. So we are able to understand the challenges that we will face in a new project involving a collaborative platform where people get together to develop a project, an idea, and so on. So this is very important because it accelerates a lot the customer development process.
Sure. Thank you again, Graziella. I would like to remind our people, read the case study, all of the case study about Quarterdeck, and specifically the discovery phase on floatingpoint.sorint.lab. Thank you all.
And share the idea.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Graziella. See you next time. Bye-bye.